Putin has won Russia's presidential election again. This will mark his fifth presidential term. He is poised to become the country's longest-serving elected leader, even surpassing Joseph Stalin before this term concludes. Contrary to expectations of anti-incumbency, Putin's popularity is on the rise, as evidenced by his record-breaking 87% vote share in the election. The Russian election results faced condemnation from the West, with the EU asserting that the elections lacked freedom and fairness.
We have seen the Russian elections, and a statement from the 27 will be issued after the Council. But I want to anticipate that this has not been a free and fair election.
However, reactions from Asia, Africa, and Latin America indicate a shifting global dynamic. Beijing congratulated Putin, emphasizing their country's strategic partnership in the new era and stating that the result reflects the full support of the Russian people, as reported by Chinese state media. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his warm congratulations to Putin, expressing eagerness to further develop their special relationship. Notably, Russia serves as India's primary arms supplier. Following his historic election victory, President Vladimir Putin addressed the people of Russia. Here are the key highlights from his speech. Initially, I would like to thank the Russian citizens. We are all one team. All Russian citizens who came to the polling stations and voted. From the votes of every citizen of Russia comes the unified will of the Russian Federation's nations. It is an essential basis of the country's existence, its steady development in the fields of defense capability, science, education, and in other important fields. I want to thank all of you and all the citizens of the country for the support and trust. Thanks a lot. And of course, nowadays, in the conditions that we live in, special words of gratitude to our warriors. The guys who are at the front line provide the country with the conditions for its development and existence. They do not feel sorry for themselves, risk their health and life, and carry out the most important task of protecting our people in the so-called new territories, in fact, the historical territories of Russia and the country in general. Overall, the initiative is fully on the side of the Russian army. In some directions, our soldiers are overpowering the enemy. We are advancing every day, gradually, very delicately, but every day. This is a bit more than active defense, but we all see this anyway. I believe that anything is possible in the modern world. However, I have already mentioned this, and it is clear to everyone that this would be just one step away from a full-scale World War III. I don't think anybody is interested in this. Regarding the French president's position, there have already been some clarifications indicating that this contingent French troops would undertake secondary functions, such as training military personnel in Ukraine, explaining how to use Western equipment, and performing other similar tasks. Today, this is not much different from what mercenaries do, and then armed military personnel from NATO countries are present there. We know it. We hear both the French and British speeches. There is nothing good about this, primarily for them because they are dying in large numbers. I am not aware of this statement by France's president. We are ready to discuss any issues, but as always, within any situation, we will proceed from the interests of the Russian Federation, and of course the situation on the front line. Moscow has always favored peace talks, as long as the opponents are serious about establishing good neighborly relations in the long term, not just because the adversary has run out of ammunition. Russia is ready to consider various scenarios, provided that they align with a national interest. But since Kiev barred talks with the current leadership in Moscow, and President Vladimir Zelensky has no intention to hold elections, it will require painstaking research to even figure out who to negotiate with over there.